I am the bone of my soul. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, unknown to life.
Want to play the most broken ShadowHunter in Baldur's Gate 3? Hide in the shadows while you crit your way to victory with the sneakiest build that you'll ever need. The build has been through different iterations through years of Larian's patches. Since I introduced the build 2 years ago, it undergone substantial nerfs like weakening the class combinations, but that didn't stop me to make version 2, which still made the build broken. The developers was still on me, so another round of nerfs was implemented, like nerfing the infamous Devil's Sight plus Darkness exploit, where in patch 8 we no longer are allowed to attack inside the darkness anymore. Finally, that fixed it, right? In a way, yes, but in patch 8, the build became even more busted. With the introduction of the final patch and a combination of new subclasses, it just took it to the godlike status. I mean, just look at this, the AI just running around like headless chickens, not knowing what to do or who to target, and I'm not even in combat yet. Not only did we make the build even crazier, we've added a couple of new toys to its kit to make it even better. We're gonna start with a brand new rogue subclass, which is the Swashbuckler as the base. We're gonna need its really powerful new ability, which is the Rakish Audacity. This is the Swashbuckler's new sneak attack that increases our initiative rolls by 2. The Rakish Audacity is practically a sneak attack that lets you deal additional damage to your targets. But what makes this action unique is you no longer need to hide or get advantage to trigger sneak attack effect, meaning whatever your position is, or if you're just standing there, you can still trigger that ability. To turn this powerful ability to our advantage, we're gonna need the innate ability of the fighter to trigger multiple attacks in a single turn without any worries. Abilities like Action Surge, Extra Attack, plus the fighting style archery, perfect for ranged builds. To really fit the build into assassin-like theme, we're gonna need some crit modifiers like the champion subclass. This will let us rain down arrows while we crit fishing in the process. For a normal sneaky archer, sneak attacks can only be triggered once. With the combination of these classes, you can sneak attack almost twice with the Rakish Audacity range. To push the build into broken tier, we're gonna need to hide in the darkness. Remember what I said earlier that Larian fixed the darkness spell? I mean, that is technically correct, but it doesn't apply to magical darkness like the Eyes of the Dark. That is from the new Shadow Sorcerer subclass. This spell acts like your regular darkness, having the ability to heavily obscure and blind anything in its area. What's really cool about this is the caster is not affected by the blind status. You can even shoot arrows from the inside. With the use of this spell, you can just simply position yourself inside the cloud of darkness and start shooting your enemies down like they're target dummies. To make this build really overpowered, we just need to stack all of the critical modifier gear that we can find, like equipping the Saravox helmet from Act 3, which provides a Deathbringer passive. This grants us superior dark vision and critical modifiers. For the early game, the Dark Justicer helmet for critical modifier, which is the covert critical. Shade Slayer Cloak for a stealthy critical passive. Early game, you can use the Cloak of Protection for the +1 to your AC and saving throw. The Yuan-Tai Scale Mail for dexterity scaling armor, or the Spider Silk depending on your preference to increase your stealth modifiers. Helda's Gloves for the added fire damage, or maybe the lesser version in the early acts. Evasive Shoes for a +1 to your acrobatics and AC. Surgeon Subjugation for a free paralysis on crit. Caustic Band for acid weaponry, and Rescue Ring for attack advantages. Melee weapons that you can equip in Act 3 is the Bloodthirst and the Crimson Mischief for another critical modifier, plus the Crimson Weapon buff. Early game, you can just slap on a shield, or maybe the Failure Alluve is a really nice combination. Finally, for the bow will be the Deadshot for another critical modifier, together with the subclass feature of the champion, plus the gear that you have critical modifiers. Most likely you will have 5. If you don't want to use the Deadshot, the Titan String is really good for early game. That includes your strength modifiers to your attacks. with those items present in your gear, the build will most likely look like this. Really powerful and absolutely broken. This is indeed the final form of the Shadowhunter, and it's glorious. Now, let us get into how we create this broken monster. We're gonna start things off with the races. I'll just mention the most optimal race that you might want to get, especially if you want to really min-max this broken little build. You can select either from the elf or the drow. As for the elf, it's really good because of its elven weaponry training, which gives us proficiency in longsword, short sword, short bow, and long bow. As for the other one, they also have a dark vision, as well as Fey Ancestry, which prevents us from being charmed or sleep. Depending on your preference, the Drow is also a really great pick as it provides us with Drow weaponry, which is rapier, short sword in hand, crossbow proficiencies. Classes will start with the Rogue just to give us the Rakesh Audacity as early as possible. Abilities will most likely look like this. We're going to be jumping into Dexterity, Constitution, and Charisma. Dexterity is really good for the AC as well as the damage that we can deal with our finesse weapons. Constitution is our stamina and physical endurance, as well as Constitution saving throws for our darkness not to drop off. Charisma is really good if you want to be the face of the party and if you're someone who wants to dish out some charisma based spells. For the progression, we'll just definitely follow the rogue tree right here so that we can unlock the specific abilities of the Swashbuckler rogue. At level 2, we'll have access to Cunning Action Hide, Disengage, as well as Dash. Level 3 is where we unlock our specialization. That will be our Swashbuckler Rogue, as I mentioned earlier. This will provide us with the subclass feature. We will gain +2 bonus to our initiative rolls, and the most important thing is that we no longer need to get advantage to trigger our sneak attacks. We also get fancy footwork. If we make a melee attack against a target, they can't make opportunity attacks on us. Level 4 is we can now jump into the next subclass of the build as quickly as possible so that we can get the darkness going. We're gonna take the Sorcerer, move into the subclass which is the Shadow Magic. We unlock the subclass feature which is the Strength of the Grave. We reach our HP by 0. We regain 1 instead of becoming downed, as well as Superior Dark Vision, which gives us sight up to 24 meters even in dark areas. For the spells, is get any transmutation spells that are really good for utility, especially Enhanced Sleep and Feather Fall. We're just going to continue our Shadow Sorcerer build with level 2 of our Sorcerer. We'll be getting the meta magic such as Distance and Extend. This is going to be really good if you want to extend the duration of our darkness spell. We will now get the most important magic that we'll ever need for the build. That will be the Eyes of the Dark. We can use a darkness spell and blind our enemies in that AoE while we have the chance to use range attacks inside for 10 turns. For the spells, grab Mirror Image. This will increase our AC by 3 for each duplicate that we summon. Level 7 onwards, we will now take the final subclass that we'll need for the build. That will be our Champion Fighter. So we'll just take Champion, starting off with the Fighting Style. Grab the Fighting Style of Archery. This will grant us +2 bonus to our ranged weapon attacks. Now focusing on the fighter, we will unlock Action Surge, another really great flash action if you want to attack your opponents and bring them down in one turn. Level 9, unlocking our specialization or our subclass, that will be the Champion. Level 10 of our character will get a new feat. We'll just take the feat of Sharpshooter. This will give us additional 10 damage to our range attacks with just a penalty of -5, which doesn't matter because we'll be using a lot of sneak attacks with this build. Level 11, a really nice extra attack for our ranged weapons. Finally, level 12, we will just move to ability improvement and grab Dexterity. If you guys have used the Hair of Anti-Ethel on Dexterity, most likely this will jump into 18 and you can finish it up to 20. In my case, I'll just leave it to 19 just to the purpose of this video. Alright guys, it's time for some live simulation on how powerful this build can be and to show you how broken this build actually is. Before we start the battle, we'll be doing our setup, so we'll grab our Drakethroat Glaive. If you guys don't know what the Drakethroat Glaive does, it has a really nice ability which is the Draconic Elemental Weapon that can infuse our weapons with elemental effects. So we just need to drop the bow. Right after that is we can use our Draconic Elemental Weapon here and infuse it with any elemental effect that you want. For this example, I'll just use our Draconic Elemental Lightning Element. Obviously, you see here, we now have a glowy bow that has elemental effects, so we can just simply equip it. Right after that is we'll grab our knives just for the passives and critical modifiers that they give us. So we can just grab it like that. you're now practically ready to obliterate your enemies with this build. But if you really want to push it forward, you can use a potion, which is the Elixir of Viciousness, to further give you some critical modifiers. So we're going to start off with our mirror images to increase our AC to the max. So this will give us around 29. And most likely we will not be needing that, but just in case, soon after that, this will follow up with the Eyes of the Darkness. So we can have this, grab that, hide, and now we can start our battle. If you noticed, we are now in turn-based mode and we will engage our enemies. Most of the time, enemies can't even react to you. So you see here, we have 99% hit rate and attack our targets. And attack again. With our extra attack, we just got a crit. That enemy just died. Right after that is we will use our bonus action, cunning action hide, and hide from our targets, move a little bit, and that's basically it. That is actually how the build works. So if you see, enemies haven't noticed us yet, so we will now continue our onslaught and eliminate their enemies one by one. Got that done. Attack with another set. Got critical hit. If you really want to paralyze your enemies, you can using your critical hits, but for this reason, we will not be doing that. We will just go back to hide and we'll end our turn. See, enemies are still looking for us, which makes our build really broken because they don't even notice that they're being killed. So soon after that, this will just maybe try to eliminate this enemy right there. Take this one out. Dead. Finish up with this one here, trying to find us. Just use cunning action hide once again. And end our turn. And them just died again. They don't even notice us. And after that is we can now maybe move to the boss that is nothing, doing nothing, practically nothing there. And try to disrupt that boss and eliminate them as quickly as you can. Like that, we can now maybe I'll try to use paralyze on this one. Or we can use another attack to it. Another one there. You can actually start the combat right there. Okay. Now we have the chance to use our action surge. Right? Like that. So just attack the boss. That is just practically standing there. Do another extra attack for good measure. And the boss is dead on that turn. Just go to hide. And your opponents won't have a clue how to find you. Really easy build. Really overpowered. Really nice to use if you're gonna do a solo run or together with your friends that love having a sneaky character. Normally, I just try to use my normal range attacks. Like that, see, that's critical. And then we can actually follow up with our Rakesh Audacity if we want. But for this one is we don't need to, so we can just hide. Just standing there doing nothing, practically nothing, because they can't find you. Other target right here. Just finish that up if we can. Got it. And then after that is this one. And then hide there. End of turn. If you guys have any problems with not finishing up your opponents in that 10 turns that we have for the Eye of the Dark, what's really cool about this synergy is that we can actually use our create sorcery points and use the remaining points that we have so that we can just use another Eye of the Dark spell. And we can just use our create sorcery points right here. And we now have another charge of Eyes of the Dark. If you guys want to really min-max this spell, you can use the Meta Magic Extended spell to increase the duration from 10 to 20, which is already very long for that duration. So we can just use it once again right here. Reposition it to whatever preference that we want. Like that. Alright guys, that's it for our build. What do you guys think? Would love to know all about it in the comments below. Shout out to all the people subscribe and keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys for all the amazing support. And for all the people who haven't subscribed yet, thank you for watching my videos and I hope I earn your subscriptions in the future. But if you're here today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Want to support me directly? Join buttons below. If you're someone who loves Baldur's Gate 3 modding and build crafting, we actually have a really nice Discord together with some passionate players and would love to see you there. Excited for more RPG builds, news, and mods? Just keep it here in this channel. Finally, that's it for me. Up to you soon. The next Master Buck Show. So, bye guys.